Hi. You know, time passes quickly, doesn't it? Anyway, I think it does. And it did. I remember when my first baby was born, Nathan. And I remember looking at him when he was about a month old and saying, do you know 20 years from now you're going to be 20 years old? He just kept nursing. I was like, really? Wow. I was young. When he turned 20, I turned 35. He's now 41, and I'm 56. Or is he's 42. See, I lost count myself. I'm sure he didn't. After you hit 30, you start counting. What was it? If I remember then when he went to kindergarten. I did the same numbers in my head. When his graduation would be, I realized, oh, that's so far away. And it wasn't. It was one of those things of, let's count the bumblebees and let's learn how to count with our hands and our toes and be creative and color on walls. That starts at 1 and continue till he was 8. Then my only baby girl was born. I loved that little pink dress, pink leotard, black patent leather shoe little girl more than my life. I would take, what would I do? Is I would like take either old pillowcases or old sheets and I'd tear them up like my mother used to do for my hair. I'd wash her hair and get it all, straightened out, and then take it little piece by piece and roll up the rag and tie it tight. And the next day, she became a princess. She was ornery. She was always ornery. Very well spoken. She said how she felt when she felt it. Maybe not always accurate, maybe at the wrong time. But I don't know many children that say it at the right time. Ooh. Just standing there, and they say some really precocious things at the very precocious time. You have a choice as a parent to either go red or pretend nothing happened, yell at them, or if you're like me, I can help it, I crack up laughing. Especially the minister was over, and she walked by in her bikini, a bikini, and her little hair flippy flopped, a little ponytail. She's going to go outside to her rubber swimming pool, and she was going to go splash at her brother's. And she passed by the minister who I was talking to, and she farted. And she stopped and laughed. And I'm like standing there, still talking to the minister, and hoping they didn't hear a word. The air passed by. She stood there and laughed, and she tooted again, and again, and again. Oh, God. Anyway, I convinced her that if she did that outside in the swimming pool, it would make really cool bubbles. And the preacher... And Mr. looked at me and said, well, I can see you have a busy day, and I hope her bubbles turn out well. They did. Oh my good Lord. She got upset and easy, mad. And their feelings would get hurt easy too. And there's the youngest one. I think I've talked to you about him. He, you know, some babies just are in a hurry. And I swear, from the time that baby was conceived, I could feel that baby move. The doctor said, nah, can't feel that. Too itty bitty. I'm telling you, I can feel him. And the 3rd month came. And I was feeling, I mean, come on. It felt like a small soccer field in there. So, yeah. And then, by the time I was 6 months old, 6 months old, by the time I was 6 months pregnant, sitting at the grocery line, and you could see my maternity top move. And it was only 6 months along. And this one little lady looked at me. She goes, "You're so small." She goes, "When is that baby due?" And that's an active baby. I go, oh, well, you have no idea. And he never stopped moving except for night time. And I discovered that how, after all those kids, how you figure out that their schedule is by their movements when they're awake and moving and talking back almost every time you make a noise. They hear and know their mother's voice and their father's. They know their siblings' voices. They know grandmas and grandpas. They become familiar with the people that stay close by. It was interesting, and so he didn't, after a while, he didn't want to move around much, except if you turned on rock and roll. Strange music. He liked Pink Floyd. He'd see a little foot go out. And his dad loved rock and roll. And he'd move faster. He wanted to dance. He wanted to play. The night that I gave birth to the little man, he wasn't going to wait for anybody, you know. So he got in the car. We all did. He almost made it into his car seat one time. And his brother and sister were dropped off at my mother's, and we go to Lutheran Hospital, and we barely made it in the door. 45 minutes of labor. And the little nose, Nolan, he's so cute, came out sleeping with his thumb in his mouth. And the doctor needed to, just do some suction and that, and did. And that baby, one little squeak, and he was mad because they pulled his thumb out. He put his thumb back in, and he was sound asleep. They gave him a warm bath. He seemed to like that. Rather relaxing, you know. They put his new daddy on him and some sleepers. So I told them I really wanted him in sleepers. I just didn't want him in a little t-shirt and that. I like him to be snuggy and warm. And so he was. He never would wake up. The nurses would have to come in and bring him to me. She goes, he's sound asleep, but he hasn't eaten in a long time. So here I am, trying to get him to latch on. Well, he finally would latch on, and he'd, you know, yum, num, 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 num. Milk! And then he'd fall asleep. And here's the nurse over there going like this to his little cheeks. Well, that made him mad. And then he grew up, and he became 35. Not married. Very single. Handsome as all get out. Works as a job. He just doesn't have a car. All my children, Nathan, Audrey, and Mike, have voted not to drive. One, it's expensive, and two, they could use mass transit and save the environment. It's just the way it was. Christmas is coming, you know. On this Christmas, all I have to say, all I can say, and this is before Thanksgiving, is I don't know if I'll ever see my two oldest ones again. And I love you. I've always loved you. You rejected me. My age, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being too young. But I loved you dearly.